Okay, good morning. This is Anthony with BBSN, and it is Saturday morning, and probably not expecting many people to drop in on the video this early, but we are going to do our giveaway of Glory Days Boxing. And again, the release of this will be upcoming in the next few months. This is going to be It's actually a complete version of the game. I call it a beta version due to the fact that it is limited fighters. It does have actually 42. I added 2 more fighters to the original plan of 40 just to make the card stock sheet even in terms of cutouts. So 42 fighters, and we will go through them quickly. John Sullivan, Joe Goss, Vitaly Klitschko, Fireman Jim Flynn, Anthony Joshua, 2-ton Tony Galento, Bob Satterfield, Joe Grimm, the Human Punching Bag, Bob Fitzsimmons, David Hay, Tommy Burns, Tyrell Biggs, Jack Dempsey, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, George Chuvalo, Jack Johnson, Primo Carnera, Jerry Cooney, Luther McCarty, who was a subject of one of our vlogs a couple of weeks back on Triumphs and Tragedies of the Ring. Denver Ed Martin, Arthur Pelkey, who was McCarty's the opponent in that video we spoke about. James J. Corbett, Chuck Webner, the Bayonne Bleeder, Lennox Lewis, Al Benedict, Tommy Morrison, Chris Bird, Iron Mike Tyson, Frank Bruno, Pedro Augusto, the Test Tube Leader, Henry Cooper, Big George Foreman, Tom Sharkey, Evander Holyfield, and Deontay Wilder. So those will be the 42 heavyweights that will be featured in this giveaway. And again, I mentioned it in the promo video for this, but want full disclosure. The video will come, it will be, or the game, sorry, emailed, and it will include a PDF file of these fighters, so you will actually have to print them to cardstock and cut them yourself. But just an example, until I get a production company identified, which I'm still trying to negotiate, narrow down, I'm just printing these myself at Home Depot. And to print out, or not Home Depot, Office Max, to have these printed on 110 cardstock, and then they have these little cutters, you can do it yourself. The printing cost me like $5 or $6, including the game board in color, and then I just print them or cut them. It takes about 15-20 minutes to cut them all, depending on how meticulous you are, maybe a little longer. And chart, of course, does not need to be cut. So that will be included. Again, the chart will have a grid of referees and judges, which you would select pre-fight with a 1d20 roll, or you can just pick them, or you can use default, so there's no adjustments to the fighters' ratings. And of course, an instruction manual. And the instruction manual, I mentioned in our lead-up video, I've kind of have an outline of that. And I'm currently converting it into a proper manual, which I have a couple of folks proofreading. And John Mag has joined us. Welcome, John. And thanks. We're getting ready to do the giveaway, of course, which you are entered in. And so the manual I will probably have done this week, so I'm anticipating mailing the PDFs to the winner by next Saturday at the latest. And again, you will have to provide your own die because it's been mailed, and that will include a red and a blue 1x6, a black and white or 2 different color 1d10s, and a red and a blue or 2 different color 1d20. And that will give you all you need to do to play the game. Everything else will be included. So we are getting set to do that, and it's going to be done via dice roll. And one thing I want to point out before we go further is with the I redid the event chart, and I wanted to do this for a specific purpose, and that is to add a little bit more flavor and add some more action. So, and this will of course be in the instructions, but the new random or rare event chart goes 1 to 100, and there are some action sequences in between here that can occur multiple times throughout the fight, and you'll see these results here that have an asterisk at the end of them. And again, a real rare thing, 97, fighter falls awkwardly 1 to 10 on the 1d20, fight stopped due to knee injury, no contest. Obviously that can only happen once a fight, but some of the other stuff, fighter misses wildly, hurt shoulder, -1 from punches landed. So these events that are starred, and again this will be in the instructions, can only occur once during a fight. So only a single asterisked event can occur. So if you roll a rare event and it comes up, fighter lands a body blow, breaks opponent's ribs, -10 from stamina. If you have a rare event come up at any time in the fight after that and you roll an asterisk, another event will not occur. You will just ignore that and resume gameplay. These events here in the middle that do not have asterisk by them, and just an example here, fighters taunt each other, no other actions this turn. Those can occur multiple times, so there is no limit to those. And that's the big change in terms of the rare event chart. I will be determining the winner with a roll of a 1 die 20. And you'll see we have 10 people entered here. Al Red Sox fan, Charles Malmrose, I hope I said that right, Tony ZipTube, ID Jester, Joe S., the Cubs to Bears, John Mag, Alan Shaw, and Strat-O-Matic Delaware, and Earl with an E from Tabletop Baseball Plus. So you've each been assigned a number on the 1d20, 1 to 15, 2 to 16, 3 to 17, etc., etc. And when we do the giveaway, we are going to do it in true gaming style and roll for the winner. So that is coming up, but before we get to the giveaway, I wanted to do a really early sneak peek of a game that is actually, this is developed, but it won't be released for quite some time. Obviously, boxing is first, and I also have to rate seasons for this, and that is Glory Days Baseball. So Glory Days Baseball, just a quick overview, and the reason I'm doing this, I wanted to replay the 1908 Giants-Cubs Merkle game, and for those of you baseball historians or dead ball history lovers, that was a game in 1908 that Al Bridwell hit a game-winning hit for the Giants in a game against the Cubs late in the season. Fred Merkle, as was the custom of the time, did not run all the way to second base because the game-winning run had scored. He instead took off to the clubhouse. Chaos ensued. The Cubs retrieved a baseball, tagged second. Merkle was called out, and they ended up having to replay the game because the Cubs and Giants finished tied at the end of the regular season, and of course the Cubs won that and went on to win the World Series. So I wanted to replay that game, and I don't have a 1908 season in any of the baseball games I own. So obviously with my own game in development, I'm creating the 1908 season. Now that will be one of the seasons when the game is released, so I'm going to replay it with Glory Days Baseball. So I want to give you a quick overview of how that works for when the video comes up. And we'll make this really short and get to the giveaway. So these are some 1978 players cards. We have Thurman Munson, Jim Rice, Mickey Rivers, Gator Ron Guidry, Nolan Ryan, Glenn Abbott, and Stormin' Gorman Thomas from the Brew Crew. So the way this game works, basically in a nutshell, it's a game that features pitcher and hitter interaction, and it's determined rolling 2 1d10s, a 1d6, and then you have a 1d20 for what I call the resolution die. And it's really straightforward. The cards, most of the results, like my boxing game, come right off the cards. Charts are minimal. There is a resolution chart, which if there's runners on base, that's when you roll the 1d20. It will show you results of what happens based on where the ball's hit on and out, double play, fielder's choice, base runners advance, and will give you a description here and also adjustments if there's the infield is in. Same thing with base runner advancements on hits, and it's got a bunting chart, hit and run chart. This is really the only resolution charts you're going to need for the most part. There is also a defensive chart which has range and error checks incorporated. Also very easy to follow, and of course a rare events chart, which I'm big on in games, especially in games I'm designing. And it has different scenarios, bases empty, runners on, and has events as obscure as object hits player at the end of an inning and he has to leave the game. Weather and injuries, other rare things like shortstop makes miraculous catch with runners moving, unassisted triple play, that type of thing. So those are the charts and the way the game works. And again, I'll make this really quick. And when I do the 1908 Merkle game replay, I'll go into it in a little bit more detail. So first of all, the batter's cards. These are modified ratings of how the batters did in real life against left and right-handed pitchers. And different results here are indicated. And this will be what you roll first on the two 1d10s. So you can look at the differences in some hitters, comparing a hitter like Thurman Munson, who goes deep against left and right-handed pitching not too often. He only had 6 shots in 1978, versus a power hitter like Jim Rice, who has a wider range of deep results. Gorman Thomas, actually a better power hitter than Jim Rice. He played fewer games, had less plate appearances, but this is rated for a full season. But of course, Thomas strikes out a ton more, 68 to 85 versus righties, 65 to 87 versus lefties. So pretty basic on that. And then the way the pitchers come into play, our batter-pitcher interaction, is pitchers are rated and adjusted by how they do versus a league average pitcher. So Ron Guidry, who had a phenomenal, actually one of probably the top 5 or 6 pitching seasons in baseball history in 1978, definitely the best Yankee season. After you roll the result, you will cross-reference the pitcher's card using the white 1d10, which is the 1 to 9 or 0 to 9, and a blue 1d6, which again is a multiplier of 10. So this would be 37. If it's a hit, you would check under the hit column on Guidry's card, and this is where the interaction comes into play. Your good pitchers will take hits away and turn them into outs. Your good strikeout pitchers will also turn regular outs into strikeouts. A pitcher with good control can turn a walk into a contact out, and pitchers who don't strike out a lot of batters will turn a strikeout on the batter's card into a regular contact out. Also rated for home runs on a 1d20 if a deep result comes up on the batter's card. And again, rated both lefties and righties. There is a defensive rating for both hits and outs, which you will check the error or range rating of the player. And then a park effect rating, 69 on all cards. IDJ, good morning. Hope all is well. We're just talking a little bit about a long off project, Glory Days Baseball, that I'm doing a very early preview of, because I'm going to do a one-off game using this design a little bit later. So just going through the mechanics on that, and then we'll get to the Glory Days boxing giveaway. So that's it in a nutshell, and I'll just give you a real quick overview. Again, when I do the 1908 Cubs-Giants game, I will go slow and kind of explain the sequence. But what we'll do here is go through some at-bats with a good pitcher, and then I've got Glenn Abbott of the Mariners, who was not a very good pitcher that year. As you can see, he doesn't turn any hits into outs against lefties and only once against righties. He will turn some outs into hits against both. And he also is not a very big strikeout pitcher, so he'll turn some Ks into walks. So, real quick overview of how it works, and then we'll get to the giveaway of the boxing game, because I know that's what the purpose of the video is. So we'll have Jim Rice go against Ron Guidry. So the way it would work is you would roll the D10s and the D6 all at once, get your results. 53, and I'm using the black die for multipliers of 10, and 43 will be the pitching result. So 53, you would look appropriately on the batter's card. 53 versus a left-handed pitcher. Be a fly out to center field. Then you would cross-reference that against 43, and Guidry is not going to change any outs into hits against a right-handed batter. So you're just concerned there if he turns the out into a strikeout, which he does not. And I will tell you the way the cards are set up, 40s or 50s on the 1d6, you don't even have to worry about checking because all the changes will be in the 10 to 30 range on the pitcher's card. So in this scenario, that fly out would stand, one down. Gorman Thomas, will have him come up next, Stormin Gorman. And Gorman rolls a 97. That would be a wild result, and with no runners on base, we would bypass that. And wild result, you would check a 1d10 roll for a wild pitch or a balk if runners are on. And again, not the case here, so we'll get back to the action. And 98 would be the same. That has never happened twice in a row in play testing ever. Of course it would here. So 50s on both cards. And again, we know 50 on a pitcher's card is not going to yield an adjustment. So we're just going to look 50 on the batter's card. That's a line drive to shortstop. So 2 outs. And we'll have Mickey Rivers come up, Guidry batting or hitting against his teammate Guidry. And 24 for the Mick, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Now a 14 could be a possible alteration of that. So 14 against a left-hander on an out, no change there. And again, when you're changing an out to a hit, it would either be a roll in the 10s or 30s. So we know that Guidry does not change outs to hits because he had a great season, so no need to change there. So let's get into some scenarios now. So Jim Rice up against Guidry, and we have a result of 0. So that would be an event. So we'll show off the event chart. No runners are on base, and a roll of the 2d10s. 69, no runners on. Pitcher hits batter, brawl ensues, pitcher, batter, and catcher ejected. So that's an example of a rare event. Do a couple more rolls, and if necessary, I will dummy up some scenarios. So 45 this time for Rice. That's a fly ball to left field again. Guidry is tough, and that will be no result. So let's just dummy something up here. So if we'll do 2 different results. Say Rice rolls a 25. So 25 versus a left-handed pitcher is a single to center field. If Guidry rolls a 40, we already know that 40s and 50s are not going to alter the result, so that stands, single to left field. If Guidry rolled a 3 here, or a 2, which would make it a 25, you see 25 to 26, that single becomes a pop out to second base, so Guidry would have an effect on the play, and there would be an out incurred. So next at bat, we get a 91, and against lefties, that is going to be a deep ball, so 87 to 92 is deep. So first thing you will do is check Guidry, and again, this is against a right-handed batter. I did left next time, the same thing. Right-handed batter, a roll of 18 would have turned that hit into a simple ground out, but 19, it is not going to be gotten to. So you now roll to see if the home run does indeed occur, and Guidry will take away a home run on a roll of 1 to 2, and 13, it's gone. Jim Rice with a shot. So that's really the gameplay, and it does, as you're rolling, it actually goes pretty quick. You can get through a game in standard time, which most of the board games 35 to 40 minutes, and it does have a good flow to it, especially when you know when to check the pitcher's card for an adjustment to the result. So one more quick scenario, and then we will do the giveaway. So we'll put Jim Abbott on the mound now, and there's a runner on first base. And I just want to show you how the resolution dice will work. So runner on first and 19. And against a right-handed hitter, 19 is going to be a ground ball to shortstop. And you will check, because Abbott is not a great pitcher, he can turn outs into hits. And 19 versus a right-handed batter, he's not going to do that. So we know it's going to be a ground ball to short. You roll the resolution die, and 15 is going to be a fielder's choice. How do I know that? First base occupied, second base and short, 1 to 14 is a double play, 15 to 17 is fielder's choice, 18 to 20 is runner's advance. And as you play the game, you'll get to know these numbers and know when it's a double play. If there was multiple runners on, like say first and third, you can check the description here to find out how to handle all runners. And here it would be fielder's choice, batter out, or fielder's choice out at second, batter safe, runner on third scores. And if infield in, batter's out, safe at second, third holds. So that's really a simple and quick overview of the game. And again, really, really easy to play. The last result I'll give before we do the giveaway is if a defensive roll comes up. So Rice versus Abbott again. And we'll say Rice rolls a Uh, 64, which is a 63, which is a, actually let's do a ground out. We'll do a 34, which is a ground out to second base. And Abbott does not change it into a hit. He rolls a 44. So we know that's going to be a ground out to second base. Or I'm sorry, rolls a 60. Well, let me fix this. Sorry. So we will go, Rice is not going to cooperate here. We'll go 46, all right? So 46 is a fly out to left field, and 66, when you check the result here under the out column on Abbott's card, becomes a defensive check, 66 to 68. So in that case, you would look up the right fielder, and for the sake of the demonstration, we'll use Mickey Rivers. At that point, you would roll your resolution dice, the 1d20, and also the 2d10, or the one of the 2d10s again. And on the defensive chart, a roll of 10. And on an outfield out, that is going to be a range check. And so you'd roll the 1d10 if it is within Mickey Rivers' range, which is 0 to 5. He gets to it, makes a catch. And if it's outside of the range, it gives you the result here. So if he missed the range check, ball drops in front of outfielder, single, runners advance 1, picks a sinking liner off the grass, all runners hold. If we had rolled a 19 on the 1d20, then you'd be looking at an error check, and this roll would go against Mickey Rivers' error rating, which is a 4. And in this case, a 2 is inside of that, so it would have been an error. And it tells you the same thing there. Miscommunication allows ball to drop, batter safe, runners advance 2. If he had not made an error, rolled an 8, which is outside of his error range. Caught in the gap, collision allows all runners to advance 1 and no injuries. So he would have made the play in that situation. So that's a real brief demonstration of the game, and Al, Red Sox fan, has joined the chat. What's up, Al? Glad that you made it. And I was just going over a very quick overview of Glory Days baseball, which I'm going to use to simulate the 1908 Giants-Cubs Merkle game, because I have no other 1908 seasons. And like I mentioned earlier, it is a long ways from being released. It is, here's a Jim Rice card for you, Al, just so you get a close-up view of that versus Ron Guidry. These are the 1978 renditions. But the reason the game is done, fully designed, all the mechanics are implemented. I just have to start rating seasons now after I get the boxing game out. And I want to rate 3 or 4, and I'm doing those manually right now, so that takes a ton of time. So here we go. It's time for Glory Days giveaway. And Al and IDJ joining after the initial chat started. Basically here, the only thing that has changed since I did the last fight is I've kind of beefed up the random events chart and made it a little bit more robust. I went through the 42 fighters that are included at the beginning of the video, and again, this will be in PDF file that you'll have to print and cut yourself. So we are ready for the giveaway. Good luck to everybody. And the winning numbers, this will be a 1D20, 1 or a 15, Al Red Sox fan, 2 or 16, Charles Malmrose, 3 or 17, Tony Ziptube, 4 or 18, IDJ, 5 or 19, Joe S, 6 or 20, the Cubs to Bears, 7 or 11, John Mag, 8 or 12, Alan Shaw, 9 or 13, Strat Delaware, and 10 or 14, Earl from Tabletop Plus. So here we go, guys. Good luck to everybody, and here we go. I should do a Ryan Seacrest and cut the commercial, but I won't. The roll is 16, and 16 goes to Charles Malmrose. You are the winner of a beta copy of Glory Days Boxing. So I will need you to leave your email address in the comments, and I will send this to you. Again, this will be going out by next weekend. And you know what? I'm in a great mood. It's Saturday. I'm going to do one more roll, so we're going to do 2 giveaways. Here we go. So our second winner. So Charles Malmrose won the first one. Our second winner, 1D20. Good luck, guys. Here we go. And 12, and that is going to be Alan Shaw, our boxing buddy from across the pond. So Alan Shaw and Charles Malmrose, congratulations. You have won beta copies of Glory Days Boxing, which again will include 42 all-time great heavyweight fighters and not so greats. The game chart with scoring, fouls, cuts, and rare events, timer, and also the instructions, a referee chart. You will have to cut and print the cards yourself and supply your own dice, which will be detailed in the instructions. So thank you everyone for the support, and appreciate it. Again, the channel, we've started about 6 months ago. We've got over 200 subscribers now. Great community. A lot of guys do great stuff in the genre. 2 of them in this chat right now, IDJ and Al Red Sox fan. Al Red Sox fan has chats with the community, a lot of interesting stuff. Does a lot of strat replays, is currently playing dice baseball, has done boxing with Title Bout in the past. IDJ currently setting up a role-playing campaign, and also has some, I guess, tutorial or kind of about videos about role-playing in general, and some great content in there. And also does a lot of other stuff with, he's done some inside pitch in the past, Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is a game I'm playing now and really like. I don't play computer games a lot, but Pathfinder is freaking awesome. So again, appreciate it. And what will be next on the channel, we will do the, again, the 1908. Oh, I forgot to mention the baseball game. If you guys want to hang on, I will show you that. Also has park effects. So you notice on 69, when a park result comes up on a pitcher's card, and here's Christy Mathewson, who is also a great pitcher. And you'll see he was better than the league average, so he will turn hits into outs in on several rolls here in the 10 to 30 range. Also will turn outs into strikeouts because he was a good strikeout pitcher for his time. Not so much in terms of maybe the modern era, but for his time he struck out more than the average. So he's tough against righties and lefties, has more strikeouts than the average pitcher. He also has a good control factor, so he will change walks into regular contact outs. And the other thing on the park rating, so 69, whenever that's rolled on a pitcher's card, whether an out or a hit, you will go and check the park card. And I just wanted to show that to you here. So Polo Grounds, where this game will be played, here is the card. And the way the park adjustments work is whatever result is rolled on the batter's card, you will roll your resolution die, the 1d20 here, and check it. So the way this works, Polo Grounds was, believe it or not, a hitter's ballpark, but not a power hitter's ballpark, obviously with home runs, because it was cavernous in the outfield. So more singles than the league average were incurred here. So if you roll a ground out on the hitter's card, there's a possibility to change that into a single. If you roll a fly out, there's a possibility for right-handed batters to turn that into a double because there was an excessive amount of doubles hit in this park. Singles, no adjustment, obviously. Doubles, no adjustment. And then triples, it was not a very robust triples ballpark despite the cavernous alleys in center field. So for left-handers, if you roll a triple on the batter's card and get the park check, 1 to 11 becomes a triple. For lefties, 1 to 15 for righties. And again, excessive doubles. So those triples will become doubles on these rolls. And in the case of a left-handed batter, also a potential fly out. And finally, for deep results that have a ballpark check, 1 to 15 is a home run. Lefties and righties, 16 and 20 will be this is considered a long fly out. Runners on second or third or both advance. So that's how the ballpark comes into play. And again, we'll do a complete game here, the 1908, and just a preview of the antagonists involved in that. Of course, we have Christy Mathewson for the Giants. Mordecai Brown came in and relieved in the replay and got the win in that. But some of the Giants on the team you'll be seeing: Larry Doyle, Cy Seymour, Roger Bresnahan, Mike Donlin, Fred Tenney, Al Bridwell, etc. So look for that game coming up. And again, the boxing giveaway will go out by next weekend to Alan Shaw and Charles Malmros. So thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for the support, and appreciate everyone that joined in the chat. Sending congratulations, and IDJ, there's a guy in one of your videos don't come out. I wish I was busy working on Glory Days games. Unfortunately, my time has been football, and we actually won last night, so we wrapped up our region, at least a share of region title. If we win next Friday, we will win outright region title. That makes 8 region titles in a row. So the way the new playoff, the rankings work in Arizona, we didn't have a super tough strength of schedule. So we need to win next week to ensure a playoff spot, even though we win region. If we do not win next week, we could still get bumped out of the 16-team 6A playoffs despite winning region. So that's been keeping me busy, and of course the job. But once football season is over, videos will pick up and game development will pick up as well. But again, thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, keep rolling for the fences. Have a great day, and we'll be back with another video of some sort tomorrow. Take care, everyone.